the Waldorf, knowing my sister Rebecca's Versace gown cost more than my apartment's monthly rent. Not that she knew about the penthouse office I really spent my days in. Sarah, finally, Mom waved from her birthday celebration's head table. Rebecca was just telling us about her new position. Executive Vice President of Sterling Development. I slid into my seat as Rebecca held court, describing her latest luxury real estate project and her corner office's view of Central Park. So, Rebecca turned to me with a practiced smile. Still working at that parking garage? Which building is it? The one near the discount stores. The acquisition papers in my bag felt heavy. 5 years of careful planning, buying properties through shell companies, and tomorrow morning Sterling Development would belong to Chin International. How's the valet business? Dad asked, studying his wine. Must be quiet at that end of town. I sipped my water, thinking of tomorrow's board meeting where I'd take control of the city's largest real estate empire. We manage. Oh darling, Mom sighed, you could have had a real career in development. Rebecca might have an opening in building management. Rebecca laughed delicately. We always need good valets. Something more suitable for your experience. The massive screens around the ballroom caught my attention. Business news covering tomorrow's major real estate announcement. I'd kept my identity private, letting my portfolio's success speak for itself. Speaking of real estate, Rebecca gestured to the screens. Have you heard about this mysterious buyer acquiring prime properties? Though they'd never look at your side of town. My phone buzzed. Message from our CFO. Final valuation, $4.2 billion. Board meeting confirmed for 8 a.m. You know, Rebecca continued, our parking division needs managers. Basic stuff, nothing complicated. Perfect for someone with your background. The takeover documents felt heavy in my bag. The same company that had rejected my development proposals 3 years ago. To my brilliant daughter, Dad raised his glass to Rebecca. Leading the future of New York real estate. I checked my watch. 14 hours until the board meeting. 14 hours until they learned that while they mocked my parking garage, I'd built the largest private real estate empire in Manhattan. Here's my card. Rebecca slid her gold-embossed business card across the table. Call my assistant. We'll find you something appropriate for your level. I touched the ID badge in my pocket. The one that read, Sarah Chin, so Chin International in understated silver lettering. The one I'd never shown at family gatherings. Actually, I started, but Rebecca was already talking over me. Did I mention my new project? She beamed. Sterling's tallest tower yet. They're naming it, the Rebecca. 52 stories of pure luxury. It's wonderful having a daughter at such a prestigious firm, Mom gushed. Though of course Sarah, your parking work is necessary too. The news segment continued silently above us. Mystery buyer set to announce major Manhattan real estate acquisition. The ticker showed Sterling Development stock climbing on takeover rumors. Remember when you wanted to revolutionize urban development? Rebecca smirked. All those proposals about sustainable luxury communities? How did that work out? I remembered standing in Sterling's boardroom 3 years ago, pitching my vision for integrated urban spaces. Rebecca had walked past twice, pretending not to see me. Their rejection letter had called my ideas unrealistic and unmarketable. Speaking of changes, Dad turned to me. That parking garage is in a declining area. Maybe it's time to consider a real career. My phone buzzed again. Sterling board members all in position. Legal team confirms everything's ready for tomorrow. Don't wait too long, Rebecca called as the party wound down. Those parking management positions fill up fast. Though with your experience we might have to start you as an attendant. I smiled, thinking of the new building signs already being installed under cover of darkness. Sometimes the best investments aren't the most obvious ones, they're the ones nobody sees coming. Dawn painted Manhattan's skyline in gold as my private elevator ascended Sterling Tower. Through the glass walls, I could see Rebecca's office across the plaza, where she was undoubtedly preparing for her big announcement about her namesake building. Miss Chin, my assistant Marcus appeared with a tablet. The board is assembled. They think it's a routine meeting. Your sister just arrived. She's rehearsing her presentation about the Rebecca. I smoothed my Chanel suit, the one I'd bought after our first major acquisition but never worn to family events. And the paperwork? Finalized. Controlling shares secured last night. The moment you walk in, Sterling Development becomes a subsidiary of Chin International. The irony wasn't lost on me. 3 years ago, I'd waited in Sterling's lobby for hours, clutching my urban development proposal. Rebecca had walked past, too important to acknowledge her parking attendant sister. My phone lit up with texts from last night. Mom, darling, consider Rebecca's offer. Parking garages are so dreary. Rebecca, called HR. Might have valet positions open. Better than that dump you're in. Dad, be practical, Sarah. You need a real career. They're all here. Marcus checked his tablet. Your family thinks they're attending Rebecca's tower naming ceremony. Through the boardroom windows, I could see Rebecca at the podium, gesturing grandly as she unveiled renderings of the Rebecca. Our new tower will redefine luxury, she was saying. No other building in Manhattan can compare. If she only knew her precious tower would be renamed within the hour. And now, the board chairman interrupted, looking uneasy. Before we continue with Ms. Chen's presentation, we have an important announcement. Rebecca frowned, still standing at the podium. Please welcome the CEO of Chin International, who as of this morning, is the new owner of Sterling Development and all its properties. The room fell silent. Rebecca's laser pointer clattered to the floor. I stepped through the doors, my heels clicking on marble. The same boardroom that had rejected my proposal now displayed our company's portfolio on every screen. Thank you, I began, my voice carrying across the stunned room. 5 years ago I started with a single parking garage, with a vision of revolutionizing urban development. Mom's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. Today that vision becomes reality. Chin International now controls the largest luxury real estate portfolio in Manhattan. And yes, I paused, looking directly at Rebecca. That includes your tower, which will be redesigned according to our sustainable luxury standards. Dad's hand shook as he looked at Sterling's new organizational chart, with my name at the top. The new building signs are being unveiled as we speak, I continued smoothly, though I should mention we'll be postponing the tower naming ceremony indefinitely. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, we watched as workers removed the Sterling Development lettering from the building's crown. News helicopters circled overhead, capturing the moment for evening broadcasts. Effective immediately, I continued, all development projects will report to our central planning board. This includes, I turned to Rebecca, still frozen at the podium, your luxury tower project. You can't. Rebecca's voice cracked. My building, my design, will be thoroughly revised, I finished, pulling up our sustainable luxury metrics. Our developments have 40% higher occupancy rates and triple the environmental certifications of Sterling's current properties. The board members shifted uncomfortably, avoiding Rebecca's gaze. They'd seen the numbers, they knew why they'd approved the sale. As for staffing, I clicked to the next slide. All executive positions will be re-evaluated based on our company's performance standards. Rebecca finally stepped down from the podium, her perfect composure cracking. I'm executive vice president. You can't just. Actually, I interrupted, displaying the acquisition terms. As of 8 a.m., all executive positions are subject to review. Including, I paused, savoring the moment, EVP of development. Mom's designer clutch slipped from her lap. Dad loosened his tie, likely remembering all those times he'd dismissed my little parking garage at family gatherings. The massive windows offered a clear view as the new sign was lifted into place. Chin International, illuminated in brilliant white letters against the morning sky. Your office, I continued, looking at Rebecca, will be relocated to the 3rd floor. The executive suite will house our sustainable design team. Design team. Rebecca's voice was barely a whisper. Yes, the same one that developed the concepts you called unmarketable 3 years ago. The ones now achieving record occupancy rates. Marcus appeared with a stack of papers. The press is waiting in the lobby and the mayor's office called to congratulate you. Also, the new access cards are ready. I held up Rebecca's new ID card, no longer executive VP, just development associate. Sometimes, I addressed the room, but my eyes stayed on my sister. The biggest real estate empires don't start in corner offices. They start with people willing to park cars and dream big. The morning sun streamed through the windows, illuminating our new corporate logo, a beacon of change visible across the Manhattan skyline. Sometimes the best developments aren't built with steel and glass, they're built with patience and vision. Evening settled over Manhattan as I reviewed the day's headlines on the screens lining my new executive office, formerly Rebecca's suite. Chin International acquires Sterling Development in historic takeover. Mystery real estate mogul reveals identity. Sarah Chen's rise from parking garage to property empire. Sterling Properties value surges 45% after Chin acquisition. Sustainable luxury. How one woman revolutionized Manhattan real estate. Miss Chin, Marcus appeared quietly, your family is here. They've been trying to reach you since the board meeting. I turned from the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking my new empire, every major building now bearing the Chin International logo. Send them in. The doors opened to reveal a very different family from last night's party. Rebecca's designer suit was wrinkled, her perfect hair disheveled. Mom's socialite composure had crumbled. Dad clutched a folder of Sterling Development stock certificates, now bearing our company's name. Sarah. Rebecca's voice trembled, you can't just, my project, my tower. Please sit. I gestured to the Italian leather chairs facing my desk. The same ones Rebecca had bragged about at countless family gatherings. How? Dad stepped forward. That parking garage in the bad part of town was the first of 50 properties. I pulled up our portfolio map. While you were mocking my valet service, I was building the largest luxury real estate company in New York. But all those times we offered to help you find a real job. Mom stammered. I was too busy buying the companies you wanted me to work for. I displayed our acquisition history. Did you never wonder why I chose that specific garage location? Right in the heart of what's now our most valuable development zone. Rebecca stared at her old nameplate now sitting in the outgoing box. Pi Tower dedication has been redesigned, I completed. The space will better serve as our flagship sustainable luxury complex. You can't demote your own sister, Mom pleaded. Her reputation. Like she protected mine? I pulled up the security footage from 3 years ago. When I waited 8 hours to present my development proposal. The one you called amateur thinking, Rebecca? The screens showed Rebecca deliberately ignoring me in the lobby, too important to acknowledge her sister with the unrealistic ideas. Your development authority, I slid papers across the desk, has been revoked. However, I'm prepared to offer you a position. Hope flickered in her eyes. Property management. Starting level, I continued. Someone needs to handle the parking operations. Isn't that what you called, suitable for my level? Dad's face reddened as I threw Rebecca's words back at her. This is revenge, Rebecca accused. No, I said, adjusting my CO plate. This is innovation. Revenge is just extra. Marcus entered with reports. Property values are up 20%. Dubai wants expansion. Outside, our signs lit the city skyline. Now, Rebecca, I said. About that parking spot you claimed filled fast? Silence filled the room. Think it over, I added. Like prime real estate, spots are limited. They left heads low. I picked up Rebecca's old VP badge. Oh, Rebecca? She turned, makeup streaked. Don't forget to validate your parking. The door shut. Manhattan's lights glowed.